I was in love, and it was the best kind of love because it wasn't just a person involved or people, it was many people, a set of circumstances, events, environments, and jobs, and that kind of thing. I had been working my own business for a few years, and it just wasn't working out. I was not making a lot of money. I met a woman who is now my wife, and she said, "Why don't you just give up your business and work for someone else, and you'll have a guaranteed income." So I did that. I worked for this company in Foster City, and since I had been working for myself, they hired me at a relatively low salary, but after 1 year, they reviewed my performance and what I was worth to the company. To make a long story short, I received the biggest raise I ever got, 17%. And so working in Foster City, I used to go out on lunch hour. Foster City is right near San Francisco Bay, and there are these trails and levees, swamps, and a view of the San Francisco Bay and San Francisco itself. I used to walk that every day at lunchtime, and I was really feeling good. My new girlfriend was working out. The job was working out. I had just gotten a 17% raise, feeling on top of the world. And I started this long dialogue in my head about, gee, now that I've got everything, what can I do? And I was also wrestling with whether there was a God, or thinking that there was a God, and God had got me through this difficult portion of my life. So now I'm making the right amount of money and a stable social life and a good, strong relationship and just enjoying life. And thinking, now that I've got everything, what can I give back? What can I do? And I'm walking on these trails in the levee and trying to formulate the question. Finally, I realized I focused on the words that summarized my overall feeling, and that was, God, what is your will for me? What would you have me do? What should I do now that I've got everything in my life in order? And I was feeling so happy. Put out the words, what is your will for me? Now, I don't know if you've ever been in an accident or some kind of trauma, but time slowed down. I heard a booming voice, which is very rare in spiritual events, but I heard a booming voice, and it said, you are my will. And I was staggered by it, and time slowed down. On the levee, if I fell one way, I'd go into the ocean, and the other way I'd fall into this muddy swamp. And because time was slow, I did a very calculated guess that it'd be much better to fall into the swamp. At least I'd get muddy, but I wouldn't have a chance of drowning. So I started to fall into the swamp, but I caught myself just in time. And it took me weeks. I'm still not sure I understand what this means, but a little bit of me is embarrassed thinking that somehow I might be special. But when you have these spiritual messages, you realize it applies to all mankind. It wasn't just me, but the words, you are my will, just kind of reinforced the idea that we exist by the very thought of God. God willed us into existence. Our mind, our personality, our experiences. So I'm not quite sure I understand it all, but that was the biggest booming voice spiritual communication I've ever received. You are my will.